Welcome to English Listening and Speaking Channel. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the English Listening and Speaking Channel. I'm your host, Emma, and today's episode is designed for advanced English learners, C1 and C2 level. This episode will help you improve your listening comprehension, fluency, and natural speech rhythm through real-life storytelling. So, find a quiet place, relax, and just listen. You can shadow along if you want. Repeat after me slowly to train your accent and tone. The power of daily life stories. Sometimes, the most powerful English lessons come from ordinary stories. Not from textbooks, not from grammar drills, but from simple, human moments. When you listen to daily life stories, you don't just learn words. You learn how to think in English, how to feel the language, and how to connect with it emotionally. Today, I'll share a short story. Something small, something real, and we'll explore the language, expressions, and meaning behind it. Story: The Coffee Spill. It was a typical Monday morning. I walked into my favorite cafe, half awake, desperate for a strong cup of coffee. The smell of roasted beans filled the air, and I could already feel my brain waking up. I ordered my usual, a flat white, and waited by the counter, scrolling through my phone. And then, the barista called my name. I reached out to grab the cup. And in one tiny second of distraction, it happened. I spilled the entire coffee all over the counter. The sound was loud. Everyone looked at me. For a moment, I froze. I could feel my face turning red. But then the barista smiled and said, "Don't worry, happens every day." We both laughed. She made me a new one. No charge. And that small kindness changed my whole morning. Understanding the language. Let's pause and reflect on the language and the message here. Did you notice the expressions? Half awake. Desperate for a strong cup of coffee. Happens every day. These are natural, idiomatic phrases that native speakers use constantly. They show emotion and personality, not just grammar. When you hear stories like this, try to focus not only on what the person says, but how they say it, the rhythm, the tone, the feeling behind the words. Language reflection. You can turn simple stories like this into powerful fluency practice. Here's how. Listen once for general meaning. Listen again and shadow. Repeat every sentence with me. Then, pause and try to retell the story in your own words. This technique trains your memory, fluency, and storytelling ability, all at the same time. Repeat after me. I can retell English stories in my own words. Again. I can retell English stories in my own words. Daily practice builds fluency. Advanced English isn't just about big vocabulary or complex grammar. It's about consistency, expression, and clarity. If you listen to English stories every day, even short ones, your brain starts to recognize patterns. You begin to predict sentence structures. You understand tone, emphasis, and meaning automatically. Repeat after me. I understand English more naturally every day. Again. I understand English more naturally every day. Real life equals real English. So, Why do I love daily life stories for advanced learners? Because they sound real. They reflect how people actually speak, not how grammar books describe it. You hear interruptions, pauses, emotions, hesitation, all the things that make language alive. So, if you want to sound more natural, don't just study English. Live it. Listen to podcasts, watch interviews, tell your own stories. Even small ones like the coffee spill. Challenge for today. Here's your fluency challenge. After this episode, tell your own story. Something that happened to you recently. It doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be something small, like being late for the bus, or meeting someone new, or trying a new recipe. Record yourself, listen to your voice, and notice your tone and rhythm. This is how you train like a native speaker. Not by memorizing but by living in the language. Repeat after me. I live in English every day. Again. I live in English every day. And that brings us to the end of today's episode. Remember, fluency is not about speed. It's about connection. The more you connect with English through real experiences, the more fluent you become. So keep listening, keep shadowing, and keep living in English. This is Emma from the English Listening and Speaking channel. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you in the next episode, where we'll explore another daily life story and more advanced English practice. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the English Listening and Speaking channel. I'm your host, Emma, and today's story is called A Lesson in Patience. This episode is designed for advanced learners, C1 and C2 level, who want to improve their listening skills, build natural fluency, and shadow real-life English. So sit back, take a deep breath, and let's begin. Part 1. Setting the Scene. Emma. It happened on a rainy Thursday afternoon. I was standing in line at the supermarket, holding just one item, a loaf of bread. In front of me, there was a man with a full cart, groceries piled high like a mountain. The line wasn't moving. The cashier looked tired, and the man at the front seemed to have a lot of questions. I could feel the irritation building inside me. You know that feeling, right? When time seems to stop and your patience starts to fade. The moment of realization. But then something unexpected happened. The man turned around and smiled at me. He said, "Sorry, this might take a while. I'm helping my mother. She's old, and she can't come to the store anymore." In that moment, everything changed. My frustration disappeared instantly. I looked closer and saw a small list in his hand. It was written in shaky handwriting. Suddenly, I wasn't impatient anymore. I was touched. That 5-minute wait turned into a quiet lesson. A reminder that sometimes, what looks like inconvenience is actually kindness in disguise. Understanding the message. Language isn't just about grammar and vocabulary. It's also about empathy. Stories like this one remind us to look deeper, beyond the surface. When you listen to English, try to understand not only the words, but the feelings behind them. The emotions, the pauses, the tone. They all carry meaning. Repeat after me. I listen to understand, not just to hear. Again. I listen to understand, not just to hear. Vocabulary and expressions. Let's look at some expressions from this story. Holding just one item means you only have one thing to buy. Groceries piled high like a mountain. A metaphor that describes a very full cart. Patience starts to fade. Means you're slowly losing patience. Kindness in disguise means something that looks bad at first but turns out to be good. Try to use one of these expressions in your own sentence later today. Repeat after me. Sometimes kindness is hidden in small moments. Again. Sometimes kindness is hidden in small moments. Reflection and shadowing practice. Now, let's shadow part of the story together. Repeat after me slowly. I was standing in line at the supermarket. There was a man with a full cart. The line wasn't moving. He said, "I'm helping my mother." My frustration disappeared instantly. Shadowing this way helps you train your rhythm, pronunciation, and emotional expression. Not just your vocabulary. The deeper lesson. Learning English is a lot like that supermarket line. Sometimes it feels slow. Sometimes you feel stuck. You want to move faster, to speak fluently right now. But fluency, like patience, takes time. You can't rush it. Every lesson, every mistake, every small step is part of your journey. Repeat after me. Fluency takes time, but I'm getting better every day. Again. Fluency takes time, but I'm getting better every day. Here's today's fluency challenge. After listening to this story, record yourself telling it again. In your own words. Change a few details if you like. Make it your story. By retelling stories in English, you're not just memorizing. You're creating real language connections in your brain. So, the next time you feel impatient, in English or in life, remember this story. Growth takes time. And sometimes, the wait itself is the lesson. Thank you for joining me today. This is Emma from the English Listening and Speaking channel. Keep listening, keep shadowing, and keep growing. I'll see you in the next episode, where we'll explore another true-to-life English story. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the English Listening and Speaking channel. I'm your host, Emma. Today's story is called The Missed Train. It's about time, frustration, and unexpected opportunities. A story that reminds us that sometimes, missing something small can lead to something greater. This is an advanced English listening practice. Slow, clear, and emotional. Perfect for shadowing and improving your natural fluency. Let's begin. The moment. It was early morning. Cold, gray, and quiet. I was rushing to catch the 8:15 train to the city. You know that kind of morning, when you're late, and everything seems to move against you. My shoelace came undone. My phone slipped from my hand. The bus arrived late. And by the time I reached the station, the doors of the train were already closing. I ran. But I was a second too late. The train pulled away, and I stood there, breathless, watching it disappear. The feeling. At first, I was angry, Angry at myself, angry at the world, angry at time. It felt unfair. I thought, why does this always happen when I need things to go right? I sat down on the cold metal bench, watching the tracks stretch into the distance. For a few minutes, I felt completely defeated, as if missing that train meant I had failed the whole day before it even began. But then something changed. The stranger. An older man sat down beside me. He smiled kindly and said, "Missed your train too?" I nodded, still frustrated. He chuckled softly and said, "You know, sometimes life makes us stop on purpose. It's not always bad to be late." His words caught me off guard. I looked at him, curious. He continued, "If everything always went according to plan, we'd never learn patience. We'd never notice the world slowing down." I smiled. And for the first time that morning, I took a deep breath. The change. The next train came 20 minutes later. When I got on, I felt different. Calmer, lighter. I sat by the window and watched the city pass by. For once, I wasn't rushing. Sometimes, the things we call delays are actually pauses we need. And sometimes, life gives us those pauses to remind us that peace isn't found in speed. It's found in stillness. Reflection. When you listen to English stories like this, try to go beyond the vocabulary. Feel the emotion behind the words. That's how you truly connect with English. Not by memorizing, but by feeling. Repeat after me. I listen to understand emotions, not just words. Again. I listen to understand emotions, not just words. This story also teaches a language lesson. Idioms like "against you," "caught me off guard," and "according to plan" are used naturally in English conversations. These are phrases that carry rhythm and tone, perfect for shadowing practice. Daily practice tip. Here's your fluency challenge for today. Retell this story, The Missed Train, in your own words. You can change the situation if you like. Maybe you missed a bus, a flight, or even an opportunity. Speak it out loud. Record yourself. Notice your pronunciation, your pacing, and your emotional tone. Each story you retell makes your English voice more natural and confident. Repeat after me. My voice in English is becoming stronger every day. Again. My voice in English is becoming stronger every day. The lesson. Fluency isn't about speaking fast. It's about understanding deeply and expressing clearly. So, the next time you miss something, a train, a call, or even a chance, remember, maybe it's not the end. Maybe it's the pause you needed to reset, breathe, and start again. Thank you for listening to this advanced English story with me. I hope the missed train reminded you that language, like life, moves in rhythms. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but always forward. Keep practicing, keep shadowing, and keep believing in your progress. This is Emma from the English Listening and Speaking channel. I'll see you in the next episode, where we'll explore another meaningful daily life story to help you grow your English fluency and emotional understanding.